What is going on, guys? It is your boy, Ollie Footy. And you guys know what time it is. We're on 32 predictions for the World Cup. Now, as you can see, we did this after the Canada and South Africa one. So it's going to be 15 predictions instead of 16. But it doesn't matter. Let's get to them. We're going rapid fire. We're going quick hitters. But before we get to these quick hitters, you guys know what to do. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. You know where we're at, man. We're on the road to 3K subs. Make sure you follow me also on all the other social platforms: Instagram, TikTok, X. Hit me up on X, bro. I will debate you all day. Trust me, and you'll love my tweets. So, anyway, let's get it started, bro. Germany and Paraguay. This one, easy wash. We've got to go with Germany. I look. We've got 73% here. If you're looking here on the bottom, at the right here, right under my screen, we're gonna go with Germany to win this. It's just I could over explain this and say, oh, Germany will set up like this, and Paraguay will probably set up lower. But so Germany will have so much of the ball, and you're giving guys like Musiala and Wirtz so much time on the ball. But the talent it reigns supreme. Talent reigns supreme when it comes to international football. And at the end of the day, Germany has all this talent. Shout out to Enciso. Shout out Miguel Almiron. But it's just you can't compare, unfortunately. Now, look, this is football. If all of a sudden, if all of a sudden Ta or Rudiger decide to, tweak out and get a red card, bro, that's not in my prediction. Okay, these are predictions for a reason. However, give me Germany to win this. Go to the round of 16, where they will meet either France or Sweden. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I think I gotta go with France. I mean, this is not even a debate. It's not even a debate, man. All right. We're talking about the team that's looked probably the best so far this tournament. And that doesn't always mean that team wins. But my goodness. These three right here. These three right here. I wonder if I could just zoom in on them, bro. Like these three. Okay, too much, too much. Mbappe, Dembele, Olise have been absolutely incredible. And yeah, we cannot compete with that. All right. We can't compete. We just can't compete with that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's just no way Sweden can compete with it, man. And look, Sweden have attackers themselves, right? Obviously, Gyökeres and Isak. And like I've said before in my last video about France, where they have this major flaw in midfield, where it just gets too much. The game's too open. All of a sudden, that midfield is absolutely wide open and exposed. And if your midfield is exposed, then your defense is exposed. And that leaves opportunities for guys 1v1 up against your defense. And you're asking a lot for a guy to go 1v1 up against Isak or Alango with his raw pace. Even Gyökeres can be tough 1v1. So that's one thing we have to watch out for. And also, it looks like Saliba has an injury. Look, Lacroix is a very good center back, especially as a backup center back. And you also have Konate, but it's not Saliba, right? Saliba, top three in the world, minimum, right? So at least. So that's one thing to watch out for France, but I just don't know if Sweden have the talent to fully exploit it, as well as, stay defensively compact and make life tough for Dembele, Mbappe, Olise. One of them is going to pop off, and that's not even bringing up Doué or Barcola. Look, we've said enough about France, but I'm just saying, like, it's almost, I don't see it happening. I don't want to say impossible, but it feels impossible, right? Give me France to win this quite comfortably. I can see it 3-1, 4-2. But yeah, give me France to win. And Sweden, unfortunately, the end of the road for them. All right, like we said, we talked about Canada and South Africa. Now let's talk about this banger of a matchup, Morocco and the Netherlands. And look, these teams to me, two evenly matched teams, so evenly matched. As I make this a little bit smaller, just so you can see this this predictor over here on the right. But at the end of the day, I think there's one thing that one team has over the other, and I think it's the attacking quality of this team. Okay, look, Morocco are so complete, man. Hakimi, Mazraoui, right? All of these guys you see in Buwadi's having a fine tournament. But the attacking quality of the Dutch, to me, has been more impressive than what I've seen from Morocco. Okay, and now we're saying, yeah, Morocco just scored four on Haiti. They scored, on Brazil. They scored on Scotland. It's all nice and dandy, bro. But I like what I'm seeing from Gakpo, man. They like Morocco's not putting up 5 on Sweden. I just don't think that's happening. You know what I mean? So, in a tournament like this, like the World Cup, attacking quality gets you so far, especially in the knockout rounds. And yeah, give me the Netherlands rather. Sorry, give me the Netherlands to win this game just barely 2-1 and knock Morocco out early. It's tough for Morocco, technically the AFCON champions, but I just don't see how they can deal with this Dutch attacking quality and also score themselves. Like it's I trust the Netherlands to score more than I trust Morocco. Damn near spitting over here. All right. So give me the Dutch to advance, Morocco to be eliminated, and let's keep it going. All right. Now the biggest matchup of this round of 32, Portugal and Croatia. And look, I've gone on and on about it, man. You guys can see it in my last video. This Portuguese team, underwhelming. You're running out of words to describe how bad they've been compared to the talent that they have. And I think it all comes to a head versus Croatia. Okay? Vitinha, love him. In this Portuguese side, completely different player. Different player. He's asked of something that he just doesn't do. Like, you know what I mean? He's never been like he can pass, he can make a lot of passes, sure. We all know this, right? One of the best, first phase players in the game. But as far as being a primary creator for a team from midfield, that's never been Vitinha's job, right? That's not what he does, right? When you talk about the most attacking midfielder of PSG, Vitinha is not there. It's Fabian Ruiz and João Neves, right? They're always in those attacking positions, and then Vitinha will come in at the edge of the box from time to time, but that's not his primary job, right? A lot of the times he's actually filling in for left back, or a left center back for Nuno Mendes, right? Like he's more so first phase. So when you have you know when you have him having that responsibility, that's tough. And I'm not saying it's all Vitinha, right? But it's not gonna work, right? And then where's Bruno Fernandez at, bro? Because that should be his responsibility, but he's not doing it either. And then benching João Neves, I just don't understand that because you need to cover ground, man. Ruben Neves is not gonna do that for you. So there's just so much out of whack with this Portuguese side, and we didn't even get to Ronaldo, we didn't even get to João Felix, we didn't even get to Pedro Neto. There's so much. And it all starts with Roberto Martinez. And as far as I know, he will be on the bench. Thus, give me Croatia to win this game. It's gonna be tight. It might be pens. I don't know how it's gonna get done, but there's no way I see this Portuguese side to continue going, man, because Croatia's a competent team, and I think as soon as they come up against a competent side, it's going to be lights out for this Portugal side. Now, if they just decide to get it, all together all of a sudden overnight, more power to them. But for me, better team here is Croatia so far. They're having a better tournament. They play better. They look better. It is absolutely Croatia's match to win, and I have them winning. Give me Croatia to go to the round of 16. Bye bye, Portugal. Unfortunately, bye bye to one of the goats of the game in Cristiano Ronaldo. And yeah, that's what I'm feeling like, man. That's what I'm feeling like. This Portuguese side just don't have it. Next up, we have Spain and Austria, and it's funny because we look at how Austria got here, right? They were basically eliminated versus Algeria after seemingly agreeing to settling on a draw, but then they're eliminated because Austria score very late to be up 3-2, and then Austria all of a sudden, well, it looks like Algeria like realized, okay, we're gonna be up against Spain now, so maybe if we get that draw, we'll still be up versus Switzerland. So that's what happened. They let Austria score. I mean, this is all speculation, of course, but rumor has it they let Austria score, and now Austria are in this game, and Algeria are going to be up against Switzerland later on in this round of 32. And now we look at it, man, and look, Austria, thanks for coming. This is Spain. Like, this is so easily Spain. I'm sorry because as a little underwhelming as Spain has been, because they have been, this is still a great team. They're playing good football, just not at the level of, the defending Euro champions, right? But they're playing good football. And, as long as Yamal comes back to full fitness, I have no worries. Now, there's also some, concerns about their midfield because Pedri and Rodri haven't necessarily shown up as much as you would expect them to this tournament, but they're still playing good football, man. And I think, look, it's not about how you start all the time, it's about how you finish. And I think right now, the Spain team is still going to be going really far. They play good football, great possession football. It's tough to guard, and yeah, it's just not much you can do against a talent like Pedri, Rodri, Yamal, Baena. Like it's just this Austria team just doesn't have enough to compete. So give me Spain, and not much more needs to be said there. Let's get to the U.S. and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Um, I really respected what Bosnia and Herzegovina did this tournament. Just knowing their backstory, and all of the history that's gone on with the Bosnian side. But this is clearly the U.S. Man, you guys know me. I got the USMNT going far in this tournament, no doubt about it. And yeah, the Bosnia side just can't. They just can't contend. I really don't think so. Pochettino has us moving so well oiled, bro. So smooth, so fast. There's just nothing you can do with that, man. Give me the USMNT. Even if Pulisic is not there, like I trust Balogun so much now, man. I have no qualms, bro. McKennie's moving great as well, and you'll have our regular backline. We'll have our A squad. So I'm feeling pretty good that the U.S. will indeed knock Bosnia and Herzegovina out and move on to the round of 16. Now another big game here in Belgium and Senegal. Yeah, this is one of them ones, man. All right, and for me, the way this game kind of comes down to, and the main factor for me is mainly how is the Belgian defense going to deal with the Senegalese attack? Because you look at this attack, and by Sar Mane, but you could also have Njai in this lineup as well. And if that's the case, you're asking a lot for the likes of Arthur Theod and Maxim de Cooper and Castagna to deal with, right? Look, I love De Bruyne, I love Trossard, I love Doku, but I don't know if they're going to be as much of a factor on the game. And I also have to shout out Lukaku as well, coming off the bench. But I just don't know if they'll be as much of a factor in the game as much as the Senegalese side will be when they have the ball. We'll see what happens, but because of this being the X factor, I don't think this Belgian defense can hold, and I think Senegal will knock out Belgium. And it sucks for Belgium; they've always been there, but like I say, they're always a bridesmaid, never the bride. And they're not really the bridesmaid; like they're not the maid of honor, right? They're not like almost there, or they're not anything close to it, but they're just there. They're just there, and you always know they're there, but you always know it's never going to be them, right? So give me Senegal to win. Unfortunately for Belgium, that's the end of the road. Senegal to the round of 16. Let's get to the second half of this. So, Brazil and Japan. Fun game, but I think we've got to go with Brazil. There's not much left to say here, man. I think Brazil just have better individual talent, and that's what these games come down to. Brazil just have so much, Vinny, Cunha looks good, right? Ryan looks good. And how is Japan supposed to compete with that? How are they supposed to compete with that? Now it'll be interesting to see if Japan sits back and let Brazil have the ball. For Brazil to break down a low block, that's going to be a big challenge for them. Because we haven't really seen them do it too much. Scotland kind of had done it for a little bit in their game, but then Scotland also needed the points in that game to qualify, so they kind of had to be a little bit more gung ho. But for real, this is a challenge here for Brazil, but I think we'll be able to pass it with flying colors. There's just too much individual talent in that team. Give me Ivory Coast versus Norway. Now, this Norwegian side has been great. And to be honest, right, one team has Holland, the other team doesn't. But I think this Ivorian team with Diomande, with Nicola Pepe, Amad Diallo, these guys, these attackers can make the difference versus this Norwegian defense. And I think the Ivorian defense will actually have a better time, dealing with the Norwegian attack, outside of Holland, right? Holland is a different thing, and he can be the difference maker. But I think you look at, how just impactful Diomande has been for Ivory Coast, how good Amad Diallo's been, right? And Bonnie can definitely occupy enough center backs and create space for Pepe behind them. So for me, Give me Ivory Coast. Now, here, it's actually Ivory Coast, the underdogs. And obviously, I understand, right? Norway, I mean, they look good. And obviously, you have Holland and also the big row movement they got and all that. That's all great and dandy. But I trust this Ivorian team to get the job done. And I think they will be in the round of 16. And that'll be it for Norway, unfortunately. Now, let's get to probably the best match in terms of atmosphere in this round of 32, and that is Mexico versus Ecuador. This is going to be in Mexico City. I cannot wait for this game. Man, my X factor here. Can the Ecuador attack score versus this Mexican defense? Because I don't think the Mexican attack is going to score versus Ecuador. I mean, this Ecuadorian defense is so ironclad, right? But can the Ecuador attackers actually put the ball in the net? They did it versus Germany, but Germany also had nothing to play for. And I'm not saying Germany played like that, but it does help. And I think when you look at how bad they've been at, converting their chances, especially when you look at Curacao versus Ecuador in that game, and Ecuador just could not score versus Curacao, it gives you some concerns, right? Some warning signs for this Ecuadorian attack. However, I still think you're going talent for talent, team for team. This Ecuadorian side is better. And yes, we're, Mexico City, home field advantage, this, that, and the third. But I think Ecuador can do it, man. I really do. I really do. They've already been through the fire. They've been in tough obstacles. I don't think this will be much, much harder for them. Give me Ecuador, the better team, to win and move on to the round of 16. This could be a tight one. This could go to pens. I could see it going to pens, but I think Ecuador just pull it out. Just pull it out. And it would suck for the host to be out so early, but that's what I'm feeling like. Mexico out, Ecuador to the next round. All right, let's go kind of quicker on these last ones here. England and Congo. Congo obviously been giving a lot of trouble to the big teams. Ask Portugal, ask Colombia. However, I think it's the on the road for Congo. For me, I have England winning this tournament, so there's not much more to go into here. I think this English side and the way Tuchel has them playing is so good, especially when it comes to England versus bigger teams, because bigger teams are going to have a lot of trouble breaking this England side down, and that's why they're my winners. So if they can survive versus the smaller teams, which they've shown they can, right, versus Ghana, and obviously just yesterday versus Panama, give me England to go through in the end for Congo. But shout out Congo, man. They gave us the Fimbu. I hope I see that in the in upcoming FIFA game celebrations. But yeah, give me England to go to the next round. Argentina versus Cape Verde. Not much to say, man. One team has Messi, the other team doesn't. And we could just call it right there. But shout out Cape Verde because they've been the vibes they've been providing. It's just been incredible. And for the smallest country to ever qualify for the knockouts, it's absolutely amazing to see. So yeah, give me Cabo Verde. Give me Argentina and Cabo Verde out of this World Cup. But man, shout out to Cabo Verde making it this far and representing. All right, Australia versus Egypt. I'm gonna go Egypt here. Now this is actually a very tight game, but I think again the talent is what matters here, and I think Australia have a really solid team, and I think Egypt has less solid of a team, but they have the superstars, right? Australia doesn't really have the superstars, but Egypt has the superstars, and I think in a round of 32 game that can make the difference. It'll be tight, but I think it'll be just enough. I'm gonna go Egypt here and Australia to get knocked out of the round of 32. Last two games here. Algeria, who got the favorable matchup between Switzerland and Spain, they go for Switzerland, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Give me Switzerland to win this. Monzambi's been absolutely incredible. Vargas is on fire. You still have this whole Swiss team is so seasoned that for Algeria, who have a few young talents who are also really good, but still young, I think that'll make the difference. This experience of Shaka's been there, Akanji's been there, right? Kobal's been there. So for guys like Kaibi and Awar and Maza, who Awar's been around but hasn't really been in stakes like this, I think that'll make the difference. And give me Switzerland to win and go to the round of 16. Lastly, Give me Colombia versus Ghana. Look, I love how hard Ghana have fought, and the Black Stars have been so resilient. But this Colombian side, man, this is my real dark horse. My real dark horseman. And I don't know if Colombia have or I don't know if Ghana have the means to stop James Rodriguez and Luis Diaz in this form, right? And Luis Suarez for Colombia has also been very, very not even hit or miss, very miss, right? Very disappointing, but he's still creating some chances. He's still getting chances. He's finding the right spaces to be at. And eventually that's going to reward itself. And Ghana's been doing a lot of defending this tournament. And I just don't know how sustainable that is. Eventually, you're going to have to need the ball and convert. And Ghana hasn't done enough of that for me. So for me, Colombia, the better side, deserve to be just off of the quality of their play, deserve to be in the round of 16, and I think that will happen. So give me Colombia to go to the round of 16. And yeah, those are all my predictions. Let's run them back really quickly. Germany, France, Netherlands, Croatia, Spain, US, Senegal, Brazil, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador, England, Argentina, Egypt, Switzerland, and Colombia, all in the round of 16. We're going to have some crazy matchups if these predictions come true, right? Germany and France, crazy game. Spain, Croatia, classic. Senegal and the US, who just had a friendly, by the way, a few weeks ago. So another rematch of that would be great. Brazil and Cote d'Ivoire will be awesome to watch. Ecuador and England will be tough. Argentina and Egypt, and then Colombia and Switzerland. Proper World Cup games right there, man. So yeah, very excited for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. Follow me on all the platforms, man. Make sure you leave a comment as well. Until next time, it's been your boy, Ali Footy. We